All right, we are live. Thanks for tuning into the Resurgence of the African Mind Book Club, where we seek to liberate African minds with one unit of work at a time. Our current text is The Blueprint for Black Power by Dr. Amos Wilson. Hold on, matter of fact, let me share my screen so they can see exactly, so they can see what's going on. Let me see. Share my little screen. All right. So our first text, can you see my screen, Sister Alima?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So our first text is Blueprint for Black Power, a moral, political, and economic imperative for the 21st century, an essential reading in the age of Obama by Dr. Amos Wilson. Tonight, we will be discussing chapter 29, the Investment Book Club. Last week, we discussed chapter 28, rotating credit of saving. Last week, we discussed the Rotating Credit Association, the SUSU account, the microloan fund and underwriters loans, small business incubators, small business administration loans, the African American Development Corporation. My name is Dr. Deanna Bailey, also known as Dr. Maat, and I usually greet you with words of peace, but today I just want to say Harambe, let's pull together, and Abibi Fahore, African liberation. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic.
Peace and love, family. How is everyone doing? This is Lily La Poete Speaks, aka Alima Njai. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Another edition, as Dr. Maat has said, the RAM Book Club. Tonight, we're going to be kicking off chapter 29, family, the investment club. We're going to get into investment trends in the Black community, investment clubs, investment companies, wealth and knowledge, a case in point, and much, much more. I am the author of Perceptions of a Misplaced African Family. You can get your copy today if you don't have yours yet at lilylapoetespeaks.com. And if you would prefer yours in an electronic version, you can get that from amazon.com. We're going to let the rest of the panel introduce themselves, and thank you all for joining us.
Peace, family. Anile Kuabu, which means hello and welcome. My name is Camille Gaynor-Jones. It is my honor to be a part of tonight's program and sit on the panel with the illustrious family and those in the chat. I'm a professional drummer, producer, educator, and clinician. You can check me out on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, Instagram, and my website. And looking forward to getting into this next chapter that our ancestor Baba Amos Wilson had the foresight to formulate for us to start to implement and teach our families.
Church and masjid.
Thank you for tuning in. Ashe.
Brother Knowledge Born, please introduce yourself, King.
Peace and love to the family. It's your brother Knowledge Born. Since everybody got an aka Knowledge Born, you understand what I'm saying? We're here with the Resurgence of the African Mind Book Club. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with these beautiful African minds, these African warrior queens who have been studious and diligent and consistent with reading this sacred text given to us by our ancestor, Baba Amos Wilson. Love and honor to him for his work and his dedication and his sacrifice. And now we're coming in this 20-year resurgence since this book was revealed to us. So I'm definitely honored to be here. Black love to the family.
Brother Chaos, please introduce yourself to the viewers. Brother Chaos, you have to unmute your mic, King.
Hold on.
All right, Sister Alima, do you? Oh, okay, so you had to go back in and come out.
I think he's having some technical issues.
All right, well, we gotta move forward, and he, I guess once he gets it together.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I just switched on from my device. Good evening, Black people. This is Chaos here, and tonight I joined the beautiful panel with my beautiful guests, Dr. Maat, Sister Malia, the brothers Nala Born, and I don't know who else is on it, but I'd like to thank y'all for tonight for this session. Continue on this book and soonly reach to its conclusion. I think we have 3 more or 4 more chapters left, I believe, in this book. And so far, this has been a very wonderful journey. And not just reading the book by itself, but by others in the collective, where we all can grow and learn. To, put use, not only bring the sense what Amos written, but to eventually put some use to it to the people that's listening in every Sunday night. So, thank you.
No doubt, no doubt. So, Sister Lima, please kick it off, Queen.
Okay, give me a second. Let me run upstairs. I'm trying to cook, family. I started off late today. I'm usually done. I'm usually done by now. No, I done ran now. I ain't gonna run nothing. I'm out of breath, too. Okay.
I can dig it, sis.
Yeah, this chapter I'm really into, sis, because I trade stocks, so this is up my alley.
All right, family investment clubs. Investment trends in the Black community. I didn't really have too much on this page. Baba is comparing the net worth of how much African Americans were making at a certain time period. He talked about 1988. Then he also compared it in 1992. Of course, as we know, large gaps, family, in the income. For example, per capita, they said African Americans had a net worth of $9,000 and some change compared to whites was like $44,000.
And sis, I just want to add that it hasn't changed much. Like,
No.
It really hasn't changed much. I was looking at matter of fact, let me pull it up because you're right. The data that he presents is old. I mean, the book was published 20 years ago, but I mean, it hasn't changed much. He's comparing the median household income of whites to blacks, and as Sister Alima said, I think it was like 44,000 for European Americans and 9 or 10 grand for blacks.
Right.
I don't know if you guys can see my screen, but as of 2016, I mean the ratio hasn't changed much. Hasn't changed much at all. In fact, we see right here that as of 2016, the median household income for Asians, is $81,000 roughly, right? For Caucasians or whites, we're looking at $65,000. For Hispanics, $47,000. For us, $39,000. So we're behind. We're behind Asians. We're behind European Americans. We're behind Hispanics. We are behind regarding the median household income. And not only are we behind, these are the numbers for 2016. We're actually doing worse in 2016 than we were doing in 2000. There was an article that Brother Tawola brought to our attention a long time ago, and I'm just going to bring it back up. It says African Americans are the only U.S. racial group earning less than in 2000, right? So it says that the median income for African American households was $39,490 last year. Now, this article was published in 2017. So it goes, this was 100% correct on this other website. So it was $39,490 last year, according to the U.S. Census Bureau data released last week. It says that it was $41,363 in 2000. Both figures are in 2016 dollars, so they have been adjusted for inflation. So we're actually doing worse than we were. We're doing worse now. We did worse in 2016 than we did in 2000. It says the upstick in incomes for so many Americans helped lift the overall median U.S. income to about $59,000 last year, the highest level ever recorded by the Census Bureau. That figure surpassed the previous record. Okay, so basically, it's going on to talk about other ethnic groups, but I just want to point out that we're actually doing worse nowadays than we were, 16 years ago. All right. So let me hide this. Let me stop sharing. All right. So please continue, Sister Liam. I just wanted to point that out, that it has changed.
No,
So yeah, like 20 years ago, it hasn't changed.
and of course, even back then, Baba also talks about investing. And we know that, of course, a lot more of us invest now, sis, but that still hasn't changed either. And Baba says that blacks are far less likely compared to whites to invest in equities, stocks and bonds, or mutual funds, equity in business, IRAs, etc. And we know that that's true. And a lot of that is because, you know, we don't have the knowledge about it. And, you know, we're not really aware of how important it is.
Exactly.
Okay, family. On to page 756. Well, I guess let me start at the beginning of that sentence. The discrepancy in investments between blacks and whites may in large part be due to the fact that black middle class is relatively young and has enjoyed affluence for only a relatively short time, and for historical reasons has developed different spending patterns. More basic reasons for the discrepancy may be a lack of strong interest in long-range investment and a lack of familiarity with investment instruments and procedures. So, you know, some of us may not necessarily be interested in it, like Bob was saying, or, you know, not too familiar with the way it works and with its benefits. The rather low interest many blacks demonstrate in making investments, while probably reflecting their generally low wages and high cost of living on a deeper level, reflects that fact that the economic role of blacks in the American economy, as determined by dominant whites, is that of secondary laborers, salaried workers, or professionals, and above all, as that of consumers, not producers or owners. And this is true. So a lot of us, you know, we're groomed to get a job, get the best job that you can. So because we have that worker mentality, because that's what we've been and that's what we've been viewed overall here in America. So I've actually heard some people say that, you know, investing in stocks and stuff like that is like for the rich people and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, it's not. Actually, you'd be surprised how much one share in a stock is relatively low. You know what I mean? So yeah. we can, it's not for rich people, it's for smart people. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add to that because I was saying, you know, I trade the stock market and I'm always trying to bring the information to our people. And a lot of them feel that it's gambling.
Right.
You know, that's what they think it is. They really think it's gambling. But I mean, when you understand the stock market, you understand how the world works, because that's where all the money is.
Right.
Like from China to Japan, all the money is in the stock market.
Yes.
And you see how these corporations operate, and also the banks, because the banks are the underwriters for the stocks that people trade, no matter how big or small. And so that's also why they didn't let the banks fall when they got caught in, you know, and all that fraud and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Because without the banks, there is no economy.
Talk about it.
So I just, you know, I try to bring that to our people. I try to teach. You know, I could say I probably told like 50 people about, you know, the stock market, just day trading, an hour and a half. I mean, I see people. I'm part of it. I don't mean to be too long, but I just want to, you know, kind of bring this information to our folks.
No, that, go ahead. Take your time, speak.
You know, it's like I know people that make $2,000 a day, you know, or even $100 a day is more than you had in 15 minutes worth of trading sometimes. You know, I mean, the stock market basically, you know, from 9:30 to 11:30. After that, you know, that's the most highest volume. After that, you know, people go to lunch or go do whatever they're going to do for the day. And that's that. But I've seen people make astronomical amounts of money in 15 minutes, an hour, or, you know. And I think people should check into it, you know, and learn how to trade. I mean, it's steady, so you don't lose money, because a lot of people want to throw a whole bunch of money in it, but it's the knowledge of how the market moves is you know, and becoming consistent is how you're able to make money. So I just wanted to add that, family. Thank you for listening.
And a lot of, and like you said, and you said a key word, sis. You say consistent, and a lot of us aren't really consistent. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we might invest our money, and as soon as the stock market drops a little bit, we pull out and we quit. You know, we're not consistently investing.
Yes. And even with that, even with the thing with day trading, you make money whether the market go up or money go down, because you can short a stock too, like how Facebook was, you know, gotten all that trouble. people were shorting that stock. When I mean shorting, that means you're taking the stock on the low side. So stock like Facebook was like $168. I think it's like $164 now. So people rolled that stock all the way down to $164. And shorting pays twice as much as stock going up. But when you short, you're getting double on the way down. So, I mean, if you had like even 10 shares in Facebook was going down at $168, you probably made a couple of G's, $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah, and when Facebook became it was an openly traded or publicly traded company,
right, IPO.
When it became an IPO, it was I think the shares were like $20, weren't they? $20.
Yeah, and people thought that was high because they were a new company. It's like, it's gonna be a fad. But you know, it's just a lot of us don't have any knowledge of the market at all. We don't really understand money at all. We know how to go to a job, you know, pay your bills, but we don't really understand how the world makes money and the financials and how to interpret news. And when you're trading stocks, it's how you interpret the news. Whether or not a company is going to go up, some of these pharmaceuticals, things like that. Just understanding current events too is very tantamount in the stock market.
And see, sis, and you're right. We don't have an understanding of this, and that's what I mean. You know, miseducation, man, is a mother, because that should be a part of our educational process. Finance,
absolutely.
Learning how the world,
absolutely.
Learning economics. That shouldn't be, you know, an elective,
right,
or optional, or I had to wait until I go to college to learn about economics. That should be a part of our educational process. What are banks? What is the purpose of banks? How are banks, you know, supposed to function? Or how do banks serve the community? You know, how do you establish a credit union? How do you get a loan? I mean, these are how do you balance a check. I mean, these are things our children should know, sis, and they don't know unless we, of course, teach them at home. But that's not a part of their educational training. You know,
yes,
and it's
but you know, doctor, you know, that's why I kind of like the Black Business School, because they do teach that. But we should be having them in all forms of school, especially ones that we have these Afrocentric schools. That should be the regular curriculum throughout their development, through whatever age they are till they reach end of high school. This should be a normal curriculum, and it tells you right there why even the institution of education, or what we call training, the public charter school, is supposed to fail, and not only it fails, but it keeps people backwards.
Yes.
Because this is the thing you need for life. One of the things that this country is so capitalist, because they control one thing, finance. And they know if you don't teach people enough of finance, you are making a consumer, an ease consumer. They can't think outside next day or next week. They only think, I need to make paycheck at the paycheck, because they train people to be a consumer class. You teach people to finance, absolutely. You destroy that consumer class overnight. So they can't have that. They cannot have that. So it tells you right there, when people must understand, when we look at the institute, when we throw a children, we always got to ask, if my child goes to these institutes from 1 to pre-K to 12, are they going to learn just enough? So once they go, if they decide to go to college, they're able to do all right in regards to how they deal with their money, how to grow their money. This should be the question to be asked before they even step into a college. And the funny thing, isn't it ironic that you only get a chance to learn how to use money as when you go to a college university where you have to be in debt? Some people find that a problem. You have to take a class on finance, MOB, what they call it. And it's funny how they have this thing structured and set up well, so that way they can keep this machine running, and they're always going to have continuous slaves. It's not going to stop.
I like the analogy, brother.
Unless our people stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right, King. He said it's a machine. And he's right. It is.
It is.
It is a machine. That was the perfect, the perfect analogy.
Well-oiled machine.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So Sister Aline was 100% correct when she says that, the economic role of Blacks in the American economy. She said that we're secondary laborers, workers, consumers. We're not producers or owners. All right. And as Brother Chaos said, we want to change this dynamic, or these dynamics, then we have to start, becoming more financially literate. All right. We got to come. So let's move on to investment clubs. At the bottom of 756, Baba tells us that an investment club typically consists of 10 to 20 persons. He says most often comprised of family members, friends, and or people from all walks of life who meet regularly to learn investment principles, to combine their monies to build an investment portfolio, a combination of stocks, bonds, and other investment properties, and exchange information with each other. Most clubs, whether incorporated or partnerships, meets once a month to deposit their monthly investment, usually $20 to $50, to review studies of stocks and to select stock in which to invest. Many investment clubs are formed by experienced investors, while an investment club helps its members to learn more about investing, to build some familiarity and knowledge about corporations, stock market, to help each other accumulate through small monthly payments and over the years a substantial security amount. It may also be founded on a combination of social interests and goals. Last week we talked about SUSUs, or rotating credit associations, and Dr. Amos Wilson suggested a SUSU, or rotating credit association, as means of aggregating and building our savings as a community. Investment clubs are also a way to aggregate our money and to develop our communities. But I asked the question, Sister Alima, how many people are really ready to do this? Like, I'm ready. I'm so ready for a SUSU, but I want to make sure that I'm in a SUSU or an investment club with people who are serious like me, not people that have a bunch of excuses month after month. Oh, I don't have my $50 this month. I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't have my 50 this month, or, oh, sis, this happened. And I understand that life happens. It does. But, I'm talking about people that are.
That's what, Dr. Maat, $50 a month? Really? I could probably oblige that.
We spend that on fast food.
Exactly. $50 a month is nothing. I mean, not for me, it is. Maybe somebody else. I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you. It's really nothing, because I think about the amount of money. Hell, I took my kids out to eat yesterday. We spent $40 just on, like, it wasn't fast food, fast vegan. We went to a vegan spot and got like wraps, and it came to $40. That, so I'm like, I'm so ready to do something like this, or to be a part of this. And Brother Travis brought to my attention that Sister Zaza Ali, she and shout out to Sister Zaza Ali. They said she was able to start a SUSU with 50 women, and each month, they put $50 in a pot, and that $2,500 is awarded to one of the members. And they've been doing this. They've been doing this for a while now, and I've heard she's been very successful, in doing that. And so I would love for us to start that. If you guys, I would love to.
Well, the Rainbow Club could always be the example, queen.
Let's do it.
Well, I will say this. Can y'all hear me, ladies?
Yeah, I'm into that. I'm into making money.
Are you into it? Yes or no, Chaos?
Yes. If $50 a month, that's simple. I would like to talk more offline to see how this goes.
Yeah, we definitely will. And last week, Brother Travis and a few other brothers who were on the panel, they said they were interested in doing it. There were some folks in the chat room who also expressed interest in doing like a SUSU or an investment club. And so maybe we send out an email, or we do an inbox in the Facebook message group, and we set up a meeting, and we meet, and get it popping.
Okay.
I agree.
Cool.
Yeah, I would love to invest in some stocks, some mutual funds, property, so.
I have some people too that I could, the brother that taught me how to invest in the stock game. I mean, we have like a Black think tank, and also in the Facebook Messenger. So, I mean, I could have him come on to speak with everyone, whenever you want to have it set up. And I mean, his knowledge, as far as everything that you was talking about, is, and I seen this brother make no less than $2 grand a day. Trust me. P&L, his profit and loss in the group every day, because most of us are all his students. You know, so I mean, his brother is thorough. Like last week, he made 24 grand on one stock. So he knows the stock market. So
and does he have classes?
Whenever you're ready. Yes, for the classes. He has the class every Thursday night at I think about 8:30.
Oh, you mean African Emporium? African Emporium?
Yeah, AE. Absolutely. I was one of his first students. He said in June it'll be a year for me. But I started studying with him last year in June. Actually, I heard him on the Bagger Squad. One of the money. What is that called? Morning. But anyway, morning money show. And something's going on somebody's But I heard him on that show, and I have been trying to find out information on day trading stocks. And just so happened I was listening that day, and he was talking about day trading stocks. And
oh man, Sister Camille, I was listening to you, sis, and now I can't hear you. Sister Camille?
Hello?
The money I see him make is just like crazy. Very knowledgeable, very giving person.
Everybody back, because I couldn't hear nobody.
Wow. Yeah, we heard you kind of like going in and out. And so we didn't know what was going on.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it's good.
All right.
Yeah, that's the brother's name, African Emporium. And if you want, I'll send a link to you to the Facebook Messenger group.
Hey, one question.
Don't put it in the group, Sister Camille. Just inbox it to like the panel members, that particular group.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. All right.
Does this African charge like what, every Thursday, a fee every Thursday?
No, it's $30 a month.
Okay.
It's really cheap because a lot of these people that teach the market, man, they charge something like $200 for one lesson for a couple of hours, like 2-3 hours. So that's why I say he's really trying to, help the community get them into the market. Because $30 a month is nothing.
Okay.
For the amount of information you get from him. I mean, giving you all the PDFs and everything for free, all the ebooks and, stuff that you would normally have to go out and buy. We have like, folders and whatnot set up with all the information in them, online that he disperses. So when you can, all it is time, really, just putting the time in to practice.
Excellent. Okay. So has he started an investment club? Because you said he's very knowledgeable about the stocks. And
no, he's not doing an investment club, but he's doing, he's teaching the stock market, how to day trade stocks or how to options, things like that. But mostly he's a day trader in the stock market. So that's but he does deal with all the other stuff too, like mutual funds. I mean, he's very, very knowledgeable. He knows all that stuff inside out. He knows all the news, all the percentages. I mean, brother could go. I mean, it's just crazy. But he's definitely one in our community that knows about some stocks.
And I'm just wondering,
on a high level.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, people like that brother and like Dr. Boyce Watkins, why haven't they started things like investment clubs?
That's what I was saying.
He studied with Boyce, but I think I guess you just got to get enough people together. I guess if he posed it, just getting people to trade stocks is a lot. He got a group of people now, so I guess he was getting his thing together too. Learning and becoming consistent, and then I guess take one step at a time. But I was glad to have heard him on the show to learn, what I know now as far as, investing and trading. So, but I mean, he would be a perfect candidate for something like that because he has so much information. Crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, and he has information, and people like Dr. Boyce Watkins. I mean, Dr. Boyce Watkins has a lot of information. He has a lot of great ideas. He has a huge following, and I mean, Dr. Boyce Watkins. He'll tell his followers, okay, well, look, invest in Bitcoin or do this or do that. But I'm talking about actually starting an investment club, starting, stuff like that, and pulling together our money to invest, because he talks a lot about Black businesses, and we're going to get to this further in the chapter where Dr. Amos Wilson says, hey, the money or the residuals that you earn from your investment portfolio, he was saying that you could take that money and invest it into Black businesses. And so I'm just wondering, I mean, I'm at a point, sis, I'm just tired of the talking. We talk, we read, we get online, right? I'm talking about now, and Dr. Boyce Watkins, this is no, I'm not, I don't want people to think, oh, Dr. Maat is disrespecting Boyce. No, I mean, we do a lot of talking, but to me, not enough walking. Let's get an investment club going. Dr. Boyce Watkins is very knowledgeable. He talks about finance a lot. Let's get some investment clubs going. Let's establish some businesses. I know he has the Black Business School jumping, but I'm talking about actual businesses.
Right.
What is being produced? I'm talking about producing tangible things in our community.
I agree. I agree.
Oh, my phone sounds low. Let me call back.
Yeah, we need some. We need to find out what business that we would use, all the time, every day. That's kind of how you, kind of pick a business. Because you don't want to. People tend to get all these weird, random type things that really don't make any money. But you need something where people, food, shelter, clothing, things like that, where people have a need for it all the time. It's a continuous cycle. It never changes.
Yeah, I mean, we talk business. People, I just hear people talk business, but you don't see them opening up a business.
Right.
I mean, I'm saying, like, we talk about businesses. Oh, the business, Black people. Where's your business? And we got to see them by example. So if you're talking about businesses, where are your businesses?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't even want to vent my frustrations because this is not the time. But it's just, it's just things like getting to a conscious community. There are a lot of talkers and not enough doers, in my opinion. You got people who talk business, but they don't own businesses. You got people that talk mathematics, but you never see them solve a math problem. You got people that talk science, but they don't produce anything. It's just, and I'm so beyond that.
Mm-hmm. I know where you at, sis.
Yeah.
I ain't even know on the social media, so I'm done. I already know.
Yeah, you got out of there. You got out. But moving on, it says investment clubs operate. I'm sorry, sister, did I cut you off?
No. I was just in agreement, saying I agree with everything you're saying.
Oh yes, sis. So I'm just ready. We're gonna definitely do a susu. I'm all in. If you guys want to do an investment club, I'm in. I have no problem putting up, $50 a month to invest in either or. So we can put together. We can have a meeting and decide what we're going to do. We're going to operate like a susu or an investment club. Like you said, bring somebody that's knowledgeable in there and go from there. So I'm all for it. But anyway, moving on. It says investment clubs operate according to the following principles. Number one, to invest a set sum once a month in common stocks, regardless of general market condition. This helps you obtain lower. Is it me, y'all? Or you still, Sister Camille?
I'm hearing that sound. I think it was Sister Lima.
Okay, so one, to invest a set sum once a month in common stocks, regardless of general market condition. This helps you obtain lower average costs. Two, to reinvest the dividends and capital gains immediately. Your money grows faster if earnings are reinvested. This is compound income at work. Three, buy growth stocks, companies whose sales are increasing at a rate faster than industry in general. The companies should have good prospects for continued growth. In other words, they should be stronger companies 5 years from now. And 4, invest in different fields. Diversification helps spread risk and opportunity. All right. So at the bottom, Dr. Amos Wilson says that he says investment clubs have in common their focus on growth and regular investing with a history of compounded annual earnings at an average rate of 14.9%. It says that these organizations, by building long-term value, help their members to save for retirement, to fund their or their children's education, and to help finance a business. All right, so those are some of the advantages of an investment club. Now on page 78, Dr. Amos Wilson provides us with a chart entitled The Power of Compounding. He said how saving $100 a month at a specific rate adds up over time. So for example, on the far left corner, he has the different interest rates. So you have a 5% interest rate, a 6%, 8%, 10%, 12%, and 14% interest rate. So he's saying at an interest rate of 5% in 5 years, if you saved $100 a month, 5 years, you have $6,810. 10 years, $15,502. 15 years, $26,595. And in 35 years, you would have $111,319. All right. And this is just at 5%. All right. 35 years, he's saying $111,000, $111,319,000. Now let's go to the bottom column, because the bottom row, because this is what got me. So if you invested $100 a month at an interest rate of 14%, in 5 years, he said that you would have $8,534. 10 years, you would have $24,964. 15 years, $56,600. And in 35 years, you would have $895,339. Now, this is just putting $100 up each month, is being invested at an interest rate of 14%. Within 35 years, you would have close to about $1 million. And this is just with $100 a month investment. No, so can you imagine if we formed an investment club, right, where people were putting up, let's say that it was maybe 20 of us, and all of us was putting $50 into this pot, which would be $1,000 each month, right? So you got $1,000 each month being invested, let's say at an interest rate of 14%. Can you imagine what that would be in a period of 5 years, over a period of 5 years? We're talking money, sis. We're talking money. Right. And this is a 5 year time span. Okay. Right. This is a 5 year time span. All right. So does one want to take it at the top, page 759?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Investment clubs as financiers of Black-owned businesses. Investment clubs may also engage in entrepreneurial ventures. Though traditionally conservative investment clubs, particularly African-American clubs, they're going on.
Yeah, I hear it too.
Okay. Second line, though traditionally conservative investment clubs, particularly African-American clubs, may cautiously invest in fledgling Black-owned corporations or well-established Black-owned corporations seeking public financing. For example, in December 1991, Black Entertainment Television Holdings Incorporated made an initial public offering, IPO, through the selling of shares. The offering raised $72.3 million. As noted by Black Enterprise magazine, May of 1992, investors, including many middle-class African Americans, bid the stock up from $17 to $26.37 a share. Ooh, that's impressive. Increasingly, Black-owned corporations are making initial public offerings or joint stock exchanges as a way of raising funds to enhance growth and expand services. Thus, through investing in Black-owned corporations, African American investors may help to initiate and sustain the growth and development of African American enterprises, as well as earn acceptable returns on their investments. So it's like a win-win situation. I mean, that's a big move in a stock from $17. That's like 9 points basically, which is a lot. Sometimes a stock might move 1 point, maybe 2 points in a day, but when you have a stock move almost like 9 to 10 points, that's saying a lot. One of the African American investment clubs, which invested in Black Entertainment Television Holdings Inc. and in the Calvert Aerial Growth Fund, a small capitalization fund worth some $260 million, founded and headed by 37-year-old African American John W. Rogers Jr., is the African American Washington Women's Investment Club. See Black Enterprise, April '92 for a full story on equity investment. The WWIC is a group of 21 Black women formed in 1987 in Washington, D.C. This club, which was initiated by an investment of $500 by each of its members and sustained by monthly dues of $60, amassed a portfolio valued at more than $100,000. Their portfolio of stocks and mutual funds during the almost 5 years of its existence averaged about 20% a year, in spite of the volatility of the market. Over the long term, this group may develop a portfolio worth millions to its members and families, as well as to the community. And that's the stock market game.
Absolutely. So then, sis, what I do like about Dr. Amos Wilson at the end, so we don't have to read the last two paragraphs on page 759. We can go to the top of page 760, but at the top, he says that for advice concerning the founding and operation of an investment club, the reader is advised to begin with articles in Black Enterprise, articles that were published from June 1992 in April of 1993. He says he or she may also contact the National Association of Investment Clubs. He said they're located at 1515 E11 Mills, Michigan, zip code 48061. Now, I don't know if they're still there. Again, this book was published 20 years ago. And he says that for a very readable introduction to the development of investment clubs, see Catherine Shaw's book. All right. So he provided us with, a resource for learning how to establish an investment club. So moving on, the next section, he talks about investment companies. And he says that investment companies currently referred to as mutual funds. I know a lot of people probably have heard of mutual funds, like when you go and open up a bank account, they talk about mutual funds. And I remember years ago, I didn't know what the hell a mutual fund was, sis.
Right.
I've heard people say mutual funds, and I'm thinking that it was like, you just put your money in something, and that's partially true, right? You do put your money in something, but what is a mutual fund? So Dr. Amos Wilson is going to talk about that in this particular section. So he says investment companies, currently referred to as mutual funds, are organizations which have as their sole purpose the ownership of securities of all types, including government bonds for investment. A mutual fund is an investment collective where a group of investors pool their assets under professional management in order to purchase, hold, and or trade various types of securities. The economic goal of the investment company is to increase the value of its investors' capital. A mutual fund is a corporation. I repeat, a mutual fund is a corporation. The investor in a mutual fund is therefore an owner, not a lender, who shares in the profits and losses, okay? Because they're going to be profits and they're going to be losses, and in the income and expenses derived from the fund's management of a relatively large and diversified portfolio, i.e. securities of various types. In practice, a mutual fund sells securities to investors among the general public. Investors are thereby permitted to purchase a proportionate or small share of the fund's portfolio. When an investor purchases shares in a fund, the amount he invests or a portion thereof, depending on the type of fund in which he invests, is actually invested in securities. Investing in mutual funds carries a number of advantages for both small and large investors lacking access to investment counsel. These include professional management, division of risk, because the fund spreads the investment dollars over many different industry and company stocks and securities. Information, all right, readily available information regarding the fund's performance. Freedom from emotional involvement and being swayed by strong feelings, hunches, etc., rather than expert knowledge and experience. Freedom from housekeeping, i.e., securing stock certificates since they are held by the fund. Automated reinvestment of income dividends and capital gains distributions, i.e., dividends may be converted into additional shares, thereby compounding the investment. Instant diversification. By investing in a mutual fund, the investor, with a relatively small amount of monies, immediately invest in a number of different industries and their securities. And exchange privileges in large funds who sponsor a variety of different subsidiary funds with different objectives, services, programs. The investor may switch part or all of his principal from one fund to another in a family of funds. So I have an asterisk next to this little sentence right here. He says it must be kept in mind that the performance of mutual funds varies greatly. The investor may be subjected to experiencing little or no growth in asset value, growth or decline in the value of his assets, depending on the performance of the fund in which he invests. So as Sister Camille said earlier, you have to be knowledgeable. You have to do your due diligence and you have to know what's going on so that you can make a good decision as to which type of mutual fund you want to invest in. All right.
Right.
At the bottom, he says, from a collective point of view, investment companies or mutual funds have become important factors in capital markets, including the markets for new securities. Some funds form a prominent and influential segment of large institutional investors who impact on the market and influence in the corporate sector is enormous. He says there now exists enough persons and corporations in the African-American community with the means and wealth for founding mutual funds initially worth at least $100 to $200 million. So my question is, Sister Camille, are there mutual funds that are owned and controlled by African-American people?
Not that I know of.
Isn't that something though? Like, so we brag about stuff, like we look at the Forbes magazine and we say, oh, Jay-Z, you know, his net worth, you know, is $900 million. And I'm not saying that he has $900 million in the bank, right?
Right.
But he has $900 million, I guess, in assets, right? Maybe if he
Right.
If
Liquidate.
liquidated all of his assets, he may have $900 million, right? Or, you know, and then you have, you know, Sean Combs, who has like $800 more dollars. Then you have Dr. Dre, who has like 700. Why don't we have any Black owned and operated mutual funds then? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. And we look at these people and call them business moguls.
Well, they're not. I'm not saying they're not business moguls, but they made a lot of money. But they didn't make a lot of money in the finance department. That's a whole nother thing. You have to understand finances and banking, and they're entertainers.
Yeah.
You know, and they may not be seeking that type of information, or they might have, you know, whoever their handlers are, i.e. the dominant culture. You know, I think Dr. Dre gave, I don't know how many millions of dollars to like Yale or one of those colleges when we have, you know,
he only gave money
historically
to
Black colleges struggling. He gave it to a university that doesn't need that money because, you know, the people that graduated from the schools are lawyers and finances and they donate millions of dollars to those kind of schools. So why would you take that? You know, I just think, you know, you also have to have excuse me, Brother Chaos. What were you saying?
Wealth is what you manufacture, control, and all that. These people are just getting paychecks. They don't really have no wealth. And if you look at majority, how they get the money is through non-Black people.
Through the dominant culture, their money. So they don't
dictate and tell you what you do with your money, how you do it, and all that stuff. Because first of all, why would you invest? I'm not sure how much money he gave him, but he gave him a lot. Why would you give a couple of million? You gave a university that does not admit Black people at all time, much less the people that graduate are making even more money that funds and keeps the school going. They give their own money from what they make, including the government gives them money too. So what the fuck?
He doesn't have an African-centered mind, and those people that they give money to like that, that's the reason they give them that kind of money, because it's like an unspoken, you're not supposed to do anything for your people. To continue to elevate us, that's why we're giving you this money.
But it's like you said, sis, and it's like we've been talking about since the beginning, and like Dr. Maat has been saying and always talks about, it comes from education. And we have not been educated to where we see the importance of elevating our own, and the importance of when you're in a position to do something like that for your people, that you should, you know. So we can fault them to a point, because they don't have that in them. But then at the same time, when you come out like Jay-Z and you try to put on this facade as if you're talking about Black economics and Black empowerment and investing and what we should do, well, then you should lead by example. And show, because Black people are the type of people, all people to a certain extent need some form of leadership. They need some type of example. And if they see somebody like Jay-Z start a susu, could you imagine how many millions of people would easily, with no problem, donate like $10 a month?
Exactly.
Like, do you know quickly in a year's time how much money someone like him could amass, you know, by doing something like that with the people? I mean, he could amass billions in 1 year. Easy.
Right.
Easy.
Yeah, they're miseducated. I mean, look at a person that, you know, dropped out of high school. So, yeah, you know, you make a lot of money in the dominant culture doesn't mean that you have to have a certain level of being able to, the word I'm looking for is being able to see through things, understand, you know, history. And if you don't have those things, you just be amassing materialism. And, you know, that's, for some folks, that's all they want is a bunch of money and materialism, and that's that. And they get theirs, and you gotta get yours, kind of mentality.
I think a part also is fear, because when you're in a position to, when you have a lot of money and a lot of people will listen to you, then that comes with a certain role of leadership that they may not necessarily want, because they kind of put like a Malcolm X kind of position, like, you know what I mean, a Dr. King type of position. And a lot of people are afraid to be in that limelight, and to an extent, I get it, you know, but it's like someone has to do it. And I know for sure, if I had that amount of money, I would have no problem.
Me either. But I agree with you as far as the fear factor. Fear is a big thing in the Black community. That's something we don't admit.
Right.
Oh yeah. And we don't talk about it either. But we're very afraid, you know, which has been conditioned in us for hundreds of years.
That's right.
Yeah, fear is the biggest problem in our community. Biggest fear. And not only fear, but accountability comes with the fear. So, you know, a lot of them that might feel that they're doing something good or want to attempt, they feel it might be more of a bigger responsibility or something greater. But at the end of the day, you know, once you have accumulated so much wealth or money, you have to really share back the love somehow to better the community you stand in, which is our people. So, you know, at the end of the day, there's not really much excuse, especially if you're able to accumulate almost $1 billion.
Right.
Use that easy.
Well, so they don't want the wrath of the, you know, of the
white man.
Yeah, because you know that's who they get their money from. Like they be talking all this. They're not self-made like that. Their money comes.
That's right.
If you're self-made, you don't care what culture says, because you're self-made. They are not. They get their money. All those endorsements, all that.
Look at where you are. All of that shit shouldn't matter. Once you get to a certain amount of wealth, like fuck with the white man. He shouldn't have no control. And you ain't gonna tell me, Jay-Z, damn it, my brother, that you will actually have like $800-something million, say 500 that is actual cash. You're not gonna tell me that at this point you actually really give a fuck what the hell the white man got to say. If they all cut you off from all them endorsements, who gives a shit? $500 million $100, like my next 10 generations is set, plus some, with that type of money and with the investment skill and knowledge that he has acquired over the years. He don't need them handlers no more. Like, you good. At what point do you walk away from the handlers is my question, and say, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm good. At what point do you break the chains and walk away?
I agree. But you know, it's greed too.
And
Make more and more. It's like nothing. It's like a vacuum. It's just like, you know, the vacuum cleaner. You just suck up all resources that you possibly can. It's just greed after a while.
Like, I understand, to get the money from them, because we gotta get it how you live. But once you get it, man, walk away. Yeah, I'm saying.
I agree.
I agree with that.
They're continuing to get rich off of him. That's my thing. Like, I couldn't see me just allowing that shit to continue on, because I know that even though I'm amassing all this wealth, imagine how much money they're making. Like, way more than they're making.
Exactly.
Not to single out, you know, we're just using him as an example. But there's so many other things, you know, P. Diddy and
you can go on and on.
We can go on and on. All the brothers, you know?
Single him out. Get his ass. He need a good ass whipping.
I mean, I'm in the music business, so I know. You know, it's like
they only get a tenth. They only get a tenth. Whatever amount that they have, they only get a tenth. That's the white Jew rule. You get a tenth. So if you got 100 million, that's a tenth of what they made off of.
It's pretty crazy, you know. And I mean, I don't know. I guess it's not gonna. My thing is, it's not gonna come from them. It's you know, the movement and all the other things that we, you know, put together. It wasn't by, you know, popular people or well-known entertainers and things like that. Though at that time you had some entertainers that were into Black empowerment, but I think with the control, the control of the industry by the dominant culture nowadays, is those not the people that they give money to. You know, they learned from the 60s and the 70s and the 50s, you know, not to help finance people that were about empowering Black people. So they pretty much, you know, what we see today is them rebooting the system. So they only get people that they know that they can control and that are not about empowering Black people. Because all you gotta do is listen to their lyrics. Listen to the lyrics today. Listen to the lyrics 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Drugs, violence.
Right.
And remember, it's done by the same people that the white man are talking about, especially what they call the Jews. They all promote that because remember, you had to continue the consumerism, the consumer class. I got to keep you on this W something. I got to keep you on this because remember, I get that tax break while you do most of the work. I'll do nothing. That's how it works. Let's move on.
Dr. Maat.
Oh yeah, no, I'm up here listening. I'm over here shaking my head. This is the stuff that I say to my children every day. You know what I mean? Like you said, the music. It has
those lyrics dictate your mindset. To me, I mean, as an artist, like there is no type of I've been in the music business all my life. And so I know all the music. I mean, I know the history of our music. Like you were talking about that show you went to see. Yeah. You know, that music was about, you know, Black empowerment or Black people being sophisticated and taking care of one another. You know, it was like that was a code. This music that we have today is about just destruction. You know, get yours any way you can. Later for women, they're bitches and hoes. I mean, just that you cannot destroy the mothers of your community.
Absolutely, it's a formula for, like you said, it's the formula for self-destruction. Sex, drugs, violence, spend all your money.
And I've sat at these meetings. I've seen these people in the dominant culture tell the artist what should be on their record, or they don't think that this is street enough. Like they are some type of purveyors of street knowledge or whatever. I'm like, wait a minute, you know, and basically the music is what it is because they say so.
Right.
And if you don't do this, you're not going to get this contract. You're not going to get your videos financed. And I mean, it's just it's
and
ridiculous.
the music
It's all their control, and that's why the mindset is why the people's mindset is what it is today. Because entertainment is a way of indoctrination and propaganda between movies and the music. They figured it out that our music was so powerful that's kept us thinking on a high level, and also we had a sense of community through our music, and we controlled the music at that time too. I mean, they were able to buy everybody out, so that's what happened. They came along with all their money, and then they controlled the narrative, and also took out all the black record labels and the black radio announcers. The radio stations, they took all that out. So that's why you have, what you have. Garbage.
And I agree with that, sis. Yesterday when I was at the Motown Broadway play, we're getting ready to continue because we have like 4 pages left. But when I was at the Motown Broadway show yesterday, they were acting out like Berry Gordy's life from like 19, I believe it started in like 19, where's my paper? I want to say 1930, something like that. His life in Detroit, and then they ended it with 1983. I think he's still living, but
yes, he is.
Yeah, but it went from like 1938 to 1983, and he talked about that to like in the 80s how he was forced to sell. A lot of people called him like a sellout. They say, oh, he sold Motown for $300 million, but they say he was forced to. Like these big companies were coming in, like you said, Sister Camille, and they were buying up. They were buying up a lot of the record labels. They were buying up the music stations. You couldn't even get your stuff played. You couldn't play stuff. So they kind of put him in a corner, and he was actually forced to sell. And they talked about that last night at the Motown Broadway play.
And Bill Clinton actually put the nail in the coffin with that last merger that he did, where before corporations couldn't just come in and buy up all the stations. But now that's why you only got like Sirius XM and this and that, a few stations that control everything, Clear Channel. So they dictate what the message is and what the music that is being played. Before, the DJ just, if he liked the music and the band, guess what? He has a variety of music. They played what they wanted to play based off of their personality. And also they were, knowledgeable about history. But once we got the Clear Channels and the Sirius XMs and all those people, those are corporations, and they're conglomerates. So they own and control all the radio stations, and they dictate to them what they have to play.
So when you talk about the Bill Clinton, you're talking about the Telecommunications Act of '96?
Yes.
About 6?
That's what sealed the deal as far as what we have today.
He did that while he was playing the saxophone, and his wife was walking around with hot sauce in her purse.
He wasn't hardly a saxophone player.
That's the same what? I was just trying to make sure we was talking about the same dog.
Yeah, he wasn't no musician.
The same dog. He was running around with
that saxophone. Wheeled that out for oh, he got a saxophone.
He moved to Harlem. He's one of us. He moved to Harlem.
We gave him a black pass.
I do want to say something real quick before y'all move on. Since Camille was on point, since Sister Lima got in the zone, they are purveyors of street knowledge. Our enemy that is their job. The destruction of Black civilization. Like, they are the purveyors of street knowledge. They turn, beautiful African homes and families into drug houses, into prostitution rings, into, homosexuality. Like, they have people standing up as entertainers as if they're leaders. You see what I'm saying? They're being led. You see what I'm saying? They're being led. They're getting paid a 10th to destroy the minds of African people. So
Exactly.
these things that we want from them, we would have to take it from them in order to. You understand what I'm saying? Like we have to, you know, that I'm not gonna go too far into that, but they are the purveyors of street knowledge. So they owe a debt to all of these families and lives that they destroyed through music, through these soundtracks for these films. You know, through these films, they all owe a debt. Like the one guy that was talking about all of that, you know, they gave him a bad rap and they had him looking crazy. Dame Dash was talking about all of that. You see what I'm saying? He was talking about all of that, and you know, they had him on one of those CNN shows or whatever, him and Cameron, and he was talking to, you know, one of them dogs that, you know, talking about the lyrics and stuff like that. He's like, you could talk about these lyrics. You're not talking about what we're doing in the community. You ain't bring up nothing that we do. We take hundreds of black children, talk to them about education, talk to them, you know, about all these other things. So these other things that are being done, that may be done by people who are in a position to give back, are not being publicized. You see what I'm saying? Like, so these things are being done, but these things are not being publicized. So there's a you know, it's a catch-22 when you're dealing with these demons. And I agree with Sister Lehman, like, how long you gonna keep the shackles on? You see what I'm saying? But they make trillions of dollars off of the destruction of African people. So why would you think your enemy would give you something to drink or eat that would be that would be good for you? You see what I'm saying? Something for you to watch, something for you to read, something for you to share with your family. And his goal, they aims and goals and objections is the destruction of black civilization. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
so there's nothing that your enemy can give you that will help you. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that they can give you.
Yeah, because everything is weaponized.
Right. So I mean, we got to use the weapons too. They out here. You see what I'm saying? So we got to, you know, so you know, the investment ideas that came out, these other things that, you know, there's a lot to formulate and plan and strategize. There are ways to win this war if people wanted to fight. You see what I'm saying? And through whatever means that you have. And you know, the message I want to get across real quick is everybody has talents and skills. You don't have to do anything other than what you're doing, but you have to do it with the express purpose of this is the goal. This is the goal. Whatever your talents, whatever your skills are, whatever you're learning, you got to get together and have that group think mentality and say, you know, what does everybody do well? What are you in school for? What are you doing? No, what training do you have? Boom, boom, boom. Get that together and say, okay, we need you to do this, and this. You see what I'm saying? And bring it back. You know, like we were saying a couple of weeks ago, bringing it back and empowering some younger people. So we don't need this with just one guy. We don't need a one Boyce Watkins. We need a million of them if that's right. You know, we don't need a one, you know, Dr. Claude Anderson. We need a million of them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so that it's, you know, it becomes a situation where you create a system and it becomes duplicatable. It becomes you know, you can replicate that. You see what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, we can put our arms around these projects and these things that need to get out. This is a global economic machine that fuels everything that's going on. You see what I'm saying? So whether it's fake news or whether it's bombs in Syria, whatever, big business is funding it all. You see what I'm saying? So we can weaponize and not necessarily be big business, but we can be about the business of liberation if this is something that we do. So we bring our talents, our gifts, our skills, our connections, our resources to the table and say, this is what we want to do.
No doubt. Beautifully said, brother. But you know what's said, Knowledge Born? You said that we have to, you said there are instruments out there, and you said that we have to use them, you know, in this war. But sad to say, brother, a lot of us don't even know that we're at war. A lot of us don't even know that they look at me crazy. What war are you talking about, Dr. Maat? We ain't at war. What? I got a job, I got a house, I got food. I don't see tanks outside in my neighborhood. What war are you talking about? You know?
Right.
So a lot of us don't even realize, you get what I'm saying, sis? A lot of us don't even realize that we're in a war. They don't know.
They don't understand warfare. Sorry, sis, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's real. don't understand warfare. I mean, you're right and exact. So a lot of us don't even know that we're at war. We don't know, and we drop our kids off on the fields, you know, on the battlefield every day. When they go to public school, we drop them right off on the battlefield, and don't even you get what I'm saying, sis? Don't even realize it. So
and don't counter the propaganda that they're being taught in there.
Not at all. Nope.
It's crazy. I mean,
you're
looking at me like I'm crazy too.
Yes,
it's like, oh, she come with all that black stuff.
Yeah.
You find it willing amongst each, community. You find it willing, for particular skills. Everybody doesn't need to be involved in everything. So the people who are educators, who have that skill, you see what I'm saying? You link those people together. The people who know how to build a house from scratch, you put them together. You see what I'm saying? So you have those folks, together, even if it's small in number, even if it's only a couple of people, it won't be a couple of people after a while. You see what I'm saying? So if you have, educators that can teach African children, if you got 5 or 6 of them, we need to get, 20 students together. You see what I'm saying? So after we get these 20 students together, it won't be 20 for long. And then you'll have more educators. And then you'll be in a position to where, we can pay some money to these educators. You see what I'm saying? So once these things start to happen, like, result driven, like the product that you made, the production company that you put together, you produce the result. You see what I'm saying? Like these things have to, some folks get on board, some folks to get, after they see some results. You see what I'm saying? So there's education that has to be had, and then there's a willingness that has to be there. So you have to find the willing amongst everybody. Is not, I know it's trendy to say stuff like I'm conscious and woke and all this other stuff. You see what I'm saying? But we have to really get to those. We have to go through that muck and the mire of those people and find the people who actually truly want to do something. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because some of those people that be saying they woke, they be full-fledged black people with blackface and dealing with white supremacy.
Right. So I mean, it's small in number, and this is global. You see what I'm saying? African people all over the planet. So we have to find those willing all over the planet, and come with a dynamic that is dynamic. You see what I'm saying? So, we got a weapon in front of us. We could be linking with people all across the planet, and use that to be able to find what we need. You see what I'm saying? And not just be at the behest. What Baba, Dr. Wilson called it feel good knowledge. You see what I'm saying? If you don't put it into implementation, you don't create a strategy or something like that. It's like you got a weapon with no bullets or bullets with no weapon. You're incomplete. So the other part is the implementation.
No doubt. So let's move on, because we got 4 pages to knock out, and we'll be finished. But it says wealth and knowledge, case in point. In this particular section, and this is the last section of the chapter, Dr. Amos Wilson is discussing Reginald F. Lewis. And for those who don't know who he is, he's an ancestor now. He is the CEO. He was the CEO of the Lewis Company, TLC. This brother was born in Baltimore, Maryland. He attended Virginia State College. He graduated from the Harvard Law School in 1968. And after he graduated from the Harvard Law School, he joined a New York law firm. And then he left that law firm. He started his own law firm. And then he began to invest. All right. And so he's given us the example of he's using them, or giving us an example just to demonstrate how a Black man, even in the face of racist and financial restraints, with little to no money, or with a lot of ingenuity, you get what I'm saying, can break out of the whole Black, he calls it the Black business reservation. He says, and range freely across the full terrain of national, international business. So he provides Reginald F. Lewis as an example. Okay, so let me go into what he did. I'm not going to read the entire section, but I'm going to read what I do have highlighted here. It says the late African-American Reginald Lewis, CEO of the Lewis Company, Wall Street lawyer and financier, provides an illustrious example of how creative, aggressive market know-how can be utilized by intrepid African-American business persons to gain, and I hear echo, y'all, to gain wealth and power in the global marketplace. As a graduate of predominantly Black Virginia State College, Lewis was ranked by Fortune magazine as one of the 400 richest Americans with personal assets valued at $400 million. Lewis, who died of brain cancer at the age of 50, so oh my God, he had a lot of life in him. At the age of 50, became a Wall Street legend and business role model in the African American community after having parlayed a $1 million investment in the McCall Pattern Company into a majority ownership and control of the multinational Beatrice International Holdings Incorporation, which has sales of some $1.7 billion in 1993. The Beatrice International is an international food processor and distributor. It says this corporation, which is by far the nation's largest Black-owned company, owns food processing and distribution centers scattered around Western Europe. All right, so I already gave you some background on where he was from and his education. I'm going to the bottom of page 762. It says, after a number of faltering attempts, he managed in 1983 to acquire the McCall Pattern Company. So what happened was, y'all, he was a lawyer for a firm. He left that, he started his own firm. And while he started his own firm, it says while his new firm did not fulfill his great expectations of representing a significant number of prominent clients, right? It says that he gained valuable experience representing corporations that were acquiring other corporations. And it says he gained an intimate and practiced knowledge of how acquisitions and other large financial transactions were done. All right. So it says after a number of faltering attempts, it says in 1983, he managed to acquire the McCall Pattern Company, a primary seller of home sewing patterns, then a subsidiary of the Chicago conglomerate S-Mart Incorporation. It says with only 1 million, I want y'all to understand this. It says with only 1 million of his assets, 1 million of his own money, Lewis arranged a leveraged buyout of McCall for $22.5 million. So this man, okay, he left, he started his own law firm. And even though he didn't get a lot of like prominent clients, he did learn how companies acquire other companies. And he saved up $1 million. And it says that he managed to leverage a buyout of McCall Pattern Company for $22.5 million. I mean, 22.5. So 20 out of $22.5 million, he only put up $1 million. Okay. So it says virtually all of the rest of the money, it was borrowed. It says, despite his fractional input on the purchase price, half of the layout being financed by a loan from Equitable Ventures Capital Unit for minority-owned business, Lewis emerged as a controlling owner of his new acquisition. After cutting costs and raising the profits of McCall's and repaying its debts early, Lewis sold the company to a British firm for $63 million in cash plus $19 million through the recapitalization plan and prior distribution. All told, Lewis received $9 million on an investment of $1 million within a 3-year period. So a 90-to-1 return on investment. Now, if that's not flippant, I don't know what the hell is, okay? So it says these two deals established Lewis' ability to do truly big deals. Joining with Clev Christoph, a friend of Citicorp, Lewis began analyzing the foreign operations of Beatrice, which was for sale under the guise of Solomon Brothers Incorporated. In June 1987, they notified Solomon Brothers of their tentative bid of $950 million for the company. At that time, Beatrice put up its international units for sale. They included conglomeration of 64 companies operating in 31 countries, ranging from a sausage producer in Spain to an ice cream maker in Germany. All right. So it says he ended up acquiring this company, the Beatrice auction. It says he offered $985 million. But it says, unfortunately, some 6 years after his outstanding coup, Lewis died in January of 1993. All right. So again, Dr. Amos Wilson says that Reginald Lewis demonstrates how a Black man in the face of racist and financial restraints with a little money and a lot of ingenuity, a facile social intelligence, and deep knowledge of his field, lots of heart and self-confidence, and a little luck can break out of the Black business reservation and range freely across the full terrain of national and international business. All right, it says that he began his trek with 1 million. And now he goes on to say that there are many more African Americans with hundreds times the personal and financial wealth he began with, right? So this man began with $1 million. And he turned $1 million into 90. So Dr. Amos Wilson is saying, look, today you have entertainers and athletes who are multimillionaires, right? So he lists Bill Cosby, who at the time of the writing of this book was worth $400 million. You had Barry Gordon, who sold Motown for $300. You got John Johnson of Ebony Magazine. They said that his net worth was $100 million. It said Michael Jackson, we know he's deceased now. They said at this time he had $100 million. He talks about Oprah Winfrey. He talks about Prince, even Eddie Murphy. So Dr. Amos Wilson says that he ends by saying there are millions of more dollars held by Black institutions and even organizations. These millions appropriately leveraged, organized into various consortiums, partnerships, and other economic formations, instrumentally manipulated by a people imbued with an African-centered consciousness, intentionality, purpose, free welding, highly flexible creativity and ingenuity, and an iron will determination to win liberation by any means necessary, can deeply penetrate the American economy and establish the African American community as a national and international force to be reckoned with. But the key word in this, y'all, is that these people who have this money have to have an African-centered consciousness and a will to liberate the Pan-African community. And that is what we're missing. We're not missing the resources. We have the resources. We have the money. We have the skills. We have the know-how. But what we're lacking is an African-centered consciousness, right? And an African-centered will, or a will to liberate the Pan-African community. These people who have these millions of dollars, excuse my language, they don't give a fuck about the Pan-African community. They don't care about liberating the Pan-African American community. They have been induced with the ideology of individualism. And we have to understand all of these different things, individualism, materialism, all of these things characterize a European consciousness, right? Which is acquired by the accumulation of European content. And where do you get this European content from? You get
institutions.
Yes, you get it from the educational system. You get it
from
get it from the media. Okay.
The
movies. This is where you get it from. All right. And so, you know, we have the tools to liberate ourselves. We have it. We just don't have the consciousness. We're lacking the consciousness. All right. The consciousness and the willpower to do so. But we have the tools. We definitely have the tools. I'm there. I'm here.
Yes. So in answering this big question, we should always ask ourselves, and I'm going to stress most people that either are conscious or unconscious. I said, why we as a people still continue to let our children be indoctrinated? Because this is the major problem. We're going to have adults operating with a Eurocentric paradigm in blackface. We are intentionally doing this. And it's not just America we have to concern about. This is also going on in the continent of Africa as well. Because there's no way hell Africa should be in a situation or what letting other foreigners come in, start now make deals and take resource while they sit there and feel comfortable, because they operate with a Eurocentric mindset. Because one thing, when I saw an image of certain parts of Africa, when I see that white image of God, I know already that you are fuck. And that is just a fact. There's no end, because once I see that symbol there, I know any race or entity could come in and say, now I could take all your money and resource because you see me as your God. You've been indoctrinated. If you don't understand, indoctrination is the most dangerous thing any race could be subjugated. Why do you think the Asian work so hard to not let the Europeans control certain parts of their people? Because they notice that the minute that people start following the same paradigm like the European, they are also screwed as well. That's why they don't have no Facebook in China. They create their own. They don't want nothing to do with America, because they know the minute they have any form of influence, that's a wrap for them. We we live around here or anywhere, we just indulge in everything and think it's okay. It won't do us nothing. And well, it is doing you something because now you're not even fighting for your own survival. The little things you could do to turn this around, you refuse because you want to please that entity that does not look like you. So you go to that same European and you please him because he is that representation of divine power and wisdom. He is perfect to our people today. That's why they don't seek to change their situation. More than the majority of us that still sleep. But go ahead.
And then check this out, Brother Chaos. You know how you said that they banned Facebook? They have like their own social media platform over there. They banned hip hop. They don't allow their children to sit there and listen to that.
Exactly.
Crap. We sit here and Sister Alima and I, we talk about this a lot offline. How could you as a parent sit there, there's no disrespect, you know, to, you know, I ain't even going to say that. I'm not even going to buffer it, right? Cardi B, okay? I can't stand, it's not her as a person. And I don't want you guys, oh, dr.maat.msu. It's not her as a person because I don't know her as a person. I don't know this young lady. All I know is what she puts out to the world. And what I can hear and what I see, she puts out messages of destruction, of death. She promotes death culture. And that's what I don't like about Cardi B. You get what I'm saying? And not even just Cardi B, other female rappers, other male rappers, the fact that they promote a deaf culture and we sit there and allow our children. Now, I'm not talking about when your child is not with you, but I'm talking about parents, us will sit there, you'll play this crap in the car with your children. You know, you'll be bumping Cardi B. You got 9-year-old. You have people who are giving their children Cardi B themed parties. I've seen it online. Okay. And all the girl raps about is her vagina. She raps about her vagina, gushy, and she's dripping in diamonds, and she's laced with all of these European owned high-end labels. She talks about murder. She talks about drugs. I got your girl on Molly. And we sit here and we allow these messages to be conveyed to our goddamn babies. And then you get mad when Dr. Maat says black people don't love their children. They get mad at Mr. Camille when I said that on Facebook. People got pissed. What do you mean?
They don't understand the psychology behind it. They don't understand because people don't want to do the work. It's like work to have children, to fight white supremacy every day. It's work. It's easier just to prop them in front of the TV. Work. Let them become indoctrinated. When you are parenting, you are putting in some work, making sure they're fed certain kinds of foods.
That's right.
Kind of knowledge comes into their heads.
That's right.
You know, like my parents, I mean, I couldn't play no records with cursing in the house. My mother would break that.
Beat your butt.
She wouldn't beat, but she would break the freaking record up and break it up into pieces and put. So even though I heard certain things in the street, I knew that wasn't the way to be because my parents instilled certain things.
It wasn't permitted in your household. It wasn't permitted in your household, Queen. And you know, and I just want to say that when I say that we don't love our children, what I mean by this, and Dr. Amos Wilson actually talks about this in his book, The Developmental Psychology of the Black Child. We have a distorted love for our children. You get what I'm saying, sis? Because like you said, with parenting, that is a full-time responsibility. Like we have to understand that we are developing, you are responsible for developing the psychology of another human being. So that means that you are you get what I'm saying, sis? So you're responsible for instilling values, morals, principles. You get what I'm saying? In this child. And you sit there and say you love your child, but you sit them in front of the television. You don't monitor what the hell they're watching. You just sit them in there. You cut on the TV. These cartoons are cursing now. These cartoons are embedded nowadays with a lot of social and political messages. But you don't care. I mean, I'm not going to say you don't care. But you don't sit there and you don't watch the show. And you don't say, well, you know what? I'm going to watch this show before I allow my children to do something. We don't have cable in my household. Okay? Having that cable, we don't have it in our household. So when my son watches television, it's because I'm hooking my laptop up to the TV and I may put something on Netflix, you know, like something that I'm familiar with already. That's on Netflix. I allow him to watch, but he doesn't, you know, we don't have cable in our household. So anyway, you got parents who sit their children in front of the television and allow the television to indoctrinate them. Then you let them listen to the radio. You allow the radio to indoctrinate them. Then you send them to school, and you allow the teachers to indoctrinate your children. And then you turn around and say you love them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You
We
love
don't
them.
have no checks and balances, sis. No checks and balances are in place. No code.
Not at all. No code. Then you take them to McDonald's. You got them
No
eating at
code
McDonald's and
at
Burger King.
all.
Got them eating
We're
at-
at the- I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, but you love them though. You love your child. You love your children. You love your children, but you take them to McDonald's every day and Burger King every day, and you feed them poison. But you say you love them, right? No, we have a distorted love for our children. That's what we have for our children. A distorted love.
And
We're hurt
and the worst
people.
and the worst thing about it, think about it. The more it looks more a reflection of ourselves, the more we don't even care. Like, the more darker, the more distorted, even further. I remember there was one time a person put a post saying how often if a person, like I said, female, this is like a post, I gotta find a post, saying, will a sister or a black woman or whatever sort will abort a mixed child? And you see the responses is ridiculous. I can't remember what was even bad, but the point is this, that it tells you, say, if you don't like what you see in the mirror, you're not gonna really cater the best, because you don't cater the best of yourself, because what you produce is that reflection of self. So you want the best for yourself and what you produce. So we talking about education, all of the above. If you don't respect and love yourself, what you produce, you're not gonna put the energy to want to see the best of your offsprings, to flourish, to do better than you, than you exceeding. You won't invest that time resource because you don't want to invest in self.
Yeah,
So.
and I was thinking about talking about this on Facebook tomorrow, because sometimes I put up posts just for conversation and see how what people would think and how they feel. But it's like sometimes I ask myself, do we really want our children to win? Like, let's be honest, do we really want our children to win? And if so, how are we as a collective guaranteeing that they do so? Like, how are you guaranteeing that your child win? By sending them to school? That's no guarantee. I mean, how are you guaranteeing that our children are going to win? How are you guaranteeing that? How are we guaranteeing that as a collective, that our children will survive and thrive? Not just survive, but thrive in our environment. Do we really care? Because just sending your child to school is just not the answer. And then you say, "Oh, I'm paying for college," and
and that's a losing format in itself too. Because now what you see what the school system have been doing, and people don't really study the numbers, saying this junk ain't fucking working. It's so bad now. It's so bad now that if a lot of parents not even noticing, your child is not even reading or doing basic stuff once they leave high school. So it tells you are setting a formula for a disaster. So when we talk about even the preparation of college, that's even nonsense, because if you're a lazy parent from yourself, you're not investing in your child's real education to know things outside the classroom. It's better if you just wait and prepare for them to go right into the jail system, because that's what the school system's already doing already. They already trained, said do this, that. So once they do something wrong, they say, "Oh, back to school. Oh no, it's prison. I forgot." It works. It works hand in hand. It works perfectly. It tells you it's a well-oiled machine. It's not stopping anytime soon. All you're going to see is going to increase, because since you're not going to do better, I'm just going to program for your self-destruction, and then stop me for creating the self-destruction. And
then I don't know if you guys have been following it on the news, and we're getting ready to close up, but I don't know if you guys have been following on the news. They have a segment called Project Baltimore, and they discovered that in Baltimore City Public Schools, that a lot of schools are changing the grades. They're just passing the students. All you got to do is just Google Project Baltimore and the findings of Project Baltimore. And so they found out that most of our children in Baltimore City aren't reading on grade level. They found out that the teachers are forging grades. Like, a lot of these kids should be failing, but they'll just pass them. They'll just give them like a 60 or 70 to just pass through. they found out that a lot of the money that should be used to fund the schools or to support the schools are being used as salaries for the people who are managing the schools at Baltimore City, Baltimore Public School headquarters. And so, you know, and I'm pretty sure this is probably going on in other cities. You know, this is just Baltimore. I'm pretty sure it's probably going on in Oakland and Detroit, as well as other cities. But the question is, do we really want our children to win? And some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't think that Black people as a collective, and even if we want them to win, I think a lot of us probably don't even know how. Like, what is the formula for success? I don't even think a lot of parents even know that. You know, like what
whatever white people say.
We say, sis?
Whatever white people say, they think is winning.
Yeah.
You know, if it's on TV, if they portray somebody with a whole lot of money, no matter how detrimental the message is, you know, because a lot of parents, you know, they lack critical thinking skills as well as their children. They don't read or anything either, so their kids don't read.
Yes, they do.
But they came from the
book in the house.
Listen, they came from the same de-educational system, same way. So anybody that was born at a certain point during late 70s and all stuff, I tell people, if you fall in that background, the children you produce are the same way like the parents was, because it's a process. You know, that's why you notice most Black households don't got even a decent book shelf or a few books. See, I'm lucky. I'm like, I don't know if anybody. I don't speak myself. You know, in my household, my family, we have a few books. You know what I'm saying? Because some of us went to schools, institutions, etc. And I had to create my own library eventually. You know, so you know, it is necessity. You have to really educate yourself. I mean, it took me a while to understand it, to get it, but now as I got older, I see the necessities now. That's saying the things that you don't know is not my fault, but this is done by design, and I had to make a conscious effort to break this design that is inflicted on me to do what everybody else is doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So y'all, we're going to close out next week. Family, meet us back here to discuss chapter 30 of Blueprint for Black Power. We're almost finished this text. I'm so proud of the panel members. I'm proud of the people who join us week after week, folks that come through and catch it in the archives. You know, this is a thick text, I mean, and we talk about 858 pages, 31 chapters, and next week we will be discussing chapter 30. All right, so we only have 2 chapters left in the Blueprint for Black Power. Chapter 30 is entitled Franchises, Cooperatives, Corporations, and Collective Capitalism. This is a very long chapter, family. This is about it's 70 pages, okay? And so, you know, we're going to try to get it done, you know, within 2 hours, because Sister Elaine.
We will. I'm going to lead it, family. No shade. I'm not trying to be funny to nobody next week, but not a whole bunch of talking, because I'm not about to be reading page for page verbatim. It's going to be straight summarizing. Yes, because
it's 70 pages that we got to comb through next week. And then the week after that will be let me see the name of this chapter. The week after that, you have the crisis of leadership. I know this is going to be a good one. The crisis of leadership. So I know that Bob is going to go in on leadership, and I believe that chapter is like 25 or 30 pages. All right. So meet us back here next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you all. Have a wonderful and a beautiful and a productive week. Peace and power.
Peace and love.
Take care. Take care now, Black people.